Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna be doing this beautiful envelope. We're gonna start with some stamps. I decided to use this one that has a lot of black areas. Then I'm gonna be using these stamps for the sides because they are very small. And then I'm gonna be using paper, of course, and this envelope that, as you can see, I can open. So it's a long envelope, and that was the idea, and this is kind of used. That is the whole idea of this, kind of using something that you already have. In my case, I have many of these that were damaged. There's too much humidity, and so I had this in my stash and I needed to use it. So I'm folding it and I'm gonna make two pockets out of this. So what I'm gonna do is just cut in the middle, and I'm gonna paste this part because it's very annoying. I'm gonna end up cutting that anyway, but I'm gonna cover it. And as you can see, I'm gonna have two envelopes coming out of here. So I'm gonna use my scissors because my knife would be annoying if I'm cutting in something that is wet. So there we go. What I'm gonna do is just kind of get the same size of the envelope that I already done. And so as you can see, there is room enough for making a small flap. I'm gonna get my my mat here to work in here. So here it is. I'm gonna use more or less that as something to measure, and then I'm gonna fold the flap and then just go ahead with that and use my bone to flap. And then I'm gonna go again just to make sure that this is very well cut, and I'm gonna do the same with the other envelope. Okay, so the other envelope is done, and what I'm gonna do is just use this puncher to get the corners of the envelopes. It really doesn't have to use this if you don't have it. I just have it, so I'm gonna use it. And then using my knife, I'm gonna be very careful to cut right to the part where I fold it, right there, because this is gonna be kind of the flap, like the closure of the envelope right there. And then I'm gonna do the same with the other one. I'm gonna go right there, and then the same one. I need to cover that part that is in black, but it's gonna be very easy. Okay, so we have this cover, and then we cut this excess because we don't need it. I'm gonna have to fold this part, and there you go. Okay, now I need something to cut a little bit of this because the love is in the details, right? So I'm gonna use this faux German tape to cover this. So I stamped this. This is just a regular piece of paper that I stamped, and it looks like a German tape, which is not true, of course, but it looks like it. Okay, I cover it, and it's beautiful again. I mean, it had just a little bit of ink that I needed to cover. I'm gonna do the same with this one. Okay, so now I'm using my ink. For this, I'm gonna use distress ink. You know the procedure. It's very straightforward. What I'm gonna do is going with my ink all the way around the envelope, and I'm gonna put that in fast camera so you don't have to see every time I do. The only thing I wanted to show you is that sometimes I just go into put that in the middle. All right, so the two envelopes are already distressed, and I'm gonna use my stamp to cover this piece of paper. As I said, I'm using a book paper. The darker the paper, the better it is, because I'm gonna be using a white pen in the corners, as you can see in the other envelope. But you can use as well black pen to go and do exactly the same thing. You put dotted lines in there around your figure, and it's gonna be looking like almost like it's sewn, which is the look that I was going for. I just happen to have white. Okay, so for that, for the corners, I'm just gonna cut with my hand, so it's irregular. I'm gonna go all around these you know, I'm doing this kind of slowly because I kind of cut the paper a little bit smaller than I wanted, so I'm trying not to kind of break too much of the paper. I shouldn't have done this, but I have to go very carefully around it. Just use your hands. It's very easy. I also have a ruler that will allow me to have the corners more accurately, but it's either way is good. Sometimes I really like using my hands just because it's very fun to do, and it's very unusual. You cannot, you know, foresee what is gonna happen. Okay, so now I'm gonna distress. Okay, now that it's distressed, I need to paste this in the envelope, of course. We have to leave like a white spaces in both ways, and that's the whole idea, right? So you can notice that this is a piece of paper that is kind of in a very weird shape, and you can see the corners of the white envelope, so you can perceive the contrast. And that's one of my favorite things to do. I'm using my tweezers here because this is wet glue and I don't want to have it in my hands, especially because I'm using distress ink and I don't want it to come yellow. Okay, so I have the other envelope, as you can see I did the same. And with this one, this stamp is a little bit larger than my piece of book paper. So what I'm gonna do is put this white paper below that could cover that part. And then I'm just gonna apply my ink in there. So it's always applying the ink in the stamp and not the stamp in the ink. This is something that I learned a long time ago, and this is something amazing. Okay, so now I have ink in my hands. Okay, I would just apply this here and keep it there. I'm gonna hold this with my finger. You can put washi tape if you want to, you know, whatever it's easier, more comfortable for you. And it's done. It's beautiful. I'm gonna do exactly the same thing with the other envelope, and as you can see, it's just the ink with the other one. Okay, so the two envelopes are done now, and then we're gonna go now with the other stamps, like kind of the detail stamps, how I call them. So this one is a grid, and let's cover the imperfections, right? So for example, this one has something black in the top that is from the ink, and this has in the side. So I try to put that wherever I feel like it's comfortable. I put the camera a little bit higher, so it's gonna be easier for you to see. So just black for the main piece and brown for the kind of side of a small decoration stamps, as you can see here. I'm gonna be using this circular one, as you can see in the model that I have. And you can have something bigger than this. I just happen to have this one, and I kind of think that it's a little bit smaller. And then I'm gonna test this one that I bought the other day. This is a little bit of a big stamp, and I like it. I don't love it, but let's put that everywhere. It kind of gives you just kind of idea of something else, more interesting areas. Okay, so we're pretty much done. There is one last step that is gonna be adding a little bit more stamp, because I want to cover this part of the stamp. As you can see, I have a little bit of a brown area there. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the other envelopes, just because I want coherency between my envelopes. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. It's kind of dangerous with a knife in there. I'm gonna clean it up in a little bit. All right, I'm gonna put this one additionally in there as well, just because I have it and it's very handy. I have all my stamps, tiny stamps in a tray, the ones that I use all the time, and I evaluate them every month or so. I check which ones I'm using the most. Okay, it's very similar. The flap of these last ones are too small, So I'm not gonna do that part just because this is very thin. But if you want to, you can do the same process. You just cut a little bit smaller and put the small little line in there. Okay, I put the knife away just because it was scary. Okay, so now the last part is just gonna go around with this white pen. You just have to make dotted lines. I'm gonna put this in fast camera again. Okay, so these are the last dots, and as you can see, this is all what we needed. Let me clean up a little bit. Okay, we have our envelopes now. I hope that you enjoy it. Please consider subscribing. See you next week. Thank you. Bye.